Utah Beach dawn landing. Young troops tried to control an elderly man, then realized who he really was. On the gray morning of June 6, 1944, along a narrow strip of sand on the Cotentin Peninsula of Normandy, young American soldiers, many barely out of their teens, braced themselves for history. The place was Utah Beach. The units were elements of the U.S. 4th Infantry Division, landing in the first waves of Operation Overlord. Amid the chaos of surf, smoke, and shouted orders, an elderly man in a worn uniform moved calmly against the current. He was stopped, redirected, told to get out of the way. Little did they know who he really was, or what his presence would mean before the day was over. What happened next would become legendary. To understand why this moment mattered, we must step back to the strategic picture of early 1944. The Allied invasion of Western Europe hinged on 5 beaches. Utah, the westernmost, was assigned to the 7th Corps under Major General J. Lawton Collins. The 4th Infantry Division, commanded by Major General Raymond O. Barton, would land, push inland, and link up with airborne troops of the 82nd and 101st Airborne Divisions, who had dropped hours earlier to secure causeways and bridges. Among the senior officers accompanying the assault was Brigadier General Theodore Roosevelt, Jr., Assistant Division Commander of the 4th Infantry Division. At 56 years old, suffering from arthritis and heart trouble, Roosevelt was older than most generals in the European theater. He walked with a cane. He was the son of a former president, and he insisted on landing with the first wave, believing that leadership belonged at the point of decision. His request was unusual. His determination was absolute. By 0630 hours, the first landing craft hit the sand, nearly 2,000 yards south of the intended landing zone due to strong currents and smoke. German defenders of the 709th Static Infantry Division occupied concrete bunkers, trenches, and artillery positions overlooking the beach. Though Utah was less heavily defended than Omaha, the threat was real. Machine gun fire snapped overhead. Artillery thudded inland. As waves of young infantrymen poured ashore, confusion reigned. Unit cohesion dissolved in the surf. By 0700, small groups sought leadership wherever they could find it. It was then they noticed the elderly officer moving forward, calmly assessing the terrain. Some assumed he was lost. Others believed he was a liaison out of place. Military police attempted to redirect him to a safer sector. "Sir, you can't be here," one reportedly said. Roosevelt listened, nodded, and continued forward. Fear gripped the men. The deafening roar of artillery filled the air. By 0800 hours, reports filtered in that the airborne troops were scattered. German counterattacks were possible at any moment. The invasion plan was unraveling. It was here, just 200 yards inland, that the truth of the elderly man's identity would change everything. With maps soaked and radios failing, officers struggled to orient themselves. The landing error meant the entire assault risked stalling. German strongpoints threatened the causeways. Casualties mounted. By midday, the 4th Infantry Division would suffer over 200 killed and wounded. Roosevelt gathered nearby officers and enlisted men. He assessed the ground with a practiced eye, noting hedgerows, ditches, and German firing arcs. Then, he made a decision that defied the plan, but saved the landing. "We'll start the war from right here," he said. The moment was dire. German artillery from inland positions rained shells. Mortar rounds exploded among the dunes. the smell of cordite and seawater mixed in the air. Against impossible odds, Roosevelt directed units forward, organizing ad hoc groups and pushing them toward objectives originally assigned miles away. Sheer determination replaced confusion. By 1100 hours, Roosevelt's improvised command structure began to work. Engineers cleared obstacles. Infantry moved through gaps. Tanks from the 70th Tank Battalion came ashore to provide fire support. The elderly general, now recognized, remained at the front, encouraging men by name, ignoring his cane, sharing their danger. German resistance faltered. The beachhead expanded. By 1500 hours, Utah Beach was secure. The feared counterattack never materialized. Roosevelt's presence had anchored the landing, transforming chaos into momentum. What happened next would become legendary. Word spread through the ranks that the old man they had tried to control was a general who had chosen to lead from the front. Morale surged. In the days that followed, the 4th Infantry Division linked up with airborne units and pushed toward Cherbourg. Roosevelt would not live to see the campaign's end. On July 12, 1944, he died of a heart attack near Méotis, France. For his actions on D-Day, he was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor, the only general officer to receive it for service on D-Day. His legacy endures as a testament to leadership under fire, the weight of command decisions, and the human spirit's triumph amid war's cruelty. The young troops never forgot the lesson learned that morning on Utah Beach. This was just one of countless untold stories from the Honor Pass Stories. Subscribe to Honor Pass Stories Records as we continue to bring these forgotten chapters of history back to life.